madness. And when I say madness, I say it in the nicest way possible. It's just going to be event after event, and we need a lot. It's just like supporters. I was trying to implement staff versus student football matches where you have, literally just student and staff interaction where we could actually, just all come together and integrate. Um, I have here, I forgot to mention for my sports students as well, we do have lunch discounts at Flagstone down the hill. So initially I did it to you get a little lunch and thing. We down the hill to walk up for lunch and thing a bit difficult. So I am advocated for that. That's basically it. I can see. So everything is just progressing slowly, nicely. We get in there. And I really, really, really want to say, guys, y'all and the y'all looking in, it is really not it's real hard work for everybody here, right? It's real hard work. We really trying, we do our best, and we really hope that you all, appreciate that, and we're here for you all. So at any time, feel free, as I think as Ms. VP would have said on or the Prezi said that you all can reach out to any one of us for information. Follow the Sports Science Society page, bring up them too, because Sports Science Society, we does really keep you all a little bit entertained with the foolishness. But anyways, guys, so thank you all for all the assistance, Romani again. I have to say thanks again a million times. And big up, shield up, Emily. Thanks for all the microphones and everything that you all have assisted us with in my absence, especially. So, Mr. Speaker, sir. Sorry, my apologies for the UCC coming from the faculty of sport as well. He has been he has been helping us as well with a lot of things. Um, the speaker, the tables, everything. So I just want to say a big, big, big thanks to everybody. And Belsa, I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about you. That was an amazing event, and thanks for the invite, guys. And enjoy the rest of the agenda.
Come on, a big round of applause for the sports representative. So now we have finished with our faculty reports and we're going into our chairperson's report. And right now we'd like to welcome our International Affairs Committee chairperson, Ms. Cynthia Mackay, as she comes to give our report.
Good night, everybody. So, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Tiffany Pear, and I'm the current International Affairs Committee chairperson. Um, Tonight, I am pleased to address you on behalf of myself and my committee members. Over the years, the International Affairs Committee has been dedicated to ensuring that the students at the UWI Cave Hill campus are all able to enjoy the Blackbird experience regardless of where they are from. This year, the IAC is focused on two main things: unity and integration. So, with the return of face-to-face learning, we believe that it is very important for students to have the opportunity to meet and socialize with their peers while learning about the various rich and diverse cultures present here at our illustrious university. In order to achieve this, the ISC has planned a number of events and activities intended to promote networking and cultural exchange between students. So far, we have revived the buddy system, a program where first year students, as well as other students, might be partnered with continuing students to give them access to one-on-one assistance that helps them adjust to life at Cave Hill better. The flyer is out, so in case you have not seen it, it's in the Gales link tree as well as the Cave Hill IS Instagram page. Another way in which we are currently seeking to boost students' unity and integration is through the newly formed International Students Immersion Program. This program is one that offers international and exchange students the opportunity to be placed into an existing country or an association so that they might also share a sense of community in the way that their regional counterparts might. So through this initiative, international students have the chance to immerse themselves not only in the culture and activities here at UWI, but also in that of their assigned association. For the rest of this semester, We plan to organize outreach initiatives in the form of book drives, tree planting activities, and more. In the second semester, there will be an eventful integration week with lots of fun, riveting events, such as the Miss Integration pageant, where delegates will come out to represent their country's spirits while vying for the title of Miss Integration. We, as the IAC, are pleased with the participation of students thus far in both initiatives and anticipate the continued support of each and every one of you as the year progresses. In closing, as we look to the year ahead of us, let us do so with the vision to respect and value the diversity around us and the mission to be the change for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pear. All right, we reached that time of the night. For people to pull out the calculators and things. Um, let's have the financial report by the treasurer, Mr. Nikolai John.
Good night, everybody. The initial plan was to have, well, for my report, I'll be focusing on our budget proposal. The initial plan was to have it on the screen for you guys to follow along with me. But big up Tevin, the budget is available on the girls' link tree. So, as I'm speaking about it, everyone should be following along. So if you could take 30 seconds right now, go on the girl page, follow the girl page if you're not following the girl page, and look for the budget for me, please. Thank you. I don't really want to just be speaking numbers so you don't really know what I'm speaking about, if you understand. Okay. Okay, so at the very top of the budget, right? Okay, this is a budget proposal. As Osaze would have spoken about earlier, this budget has not been approved yet by the bursary or by administration. So this is all in principle, right? And it's in the sake of transparency for you guys to know where your good fees are going and where we plan to spend your money in the upcoming semester. Right. So we could start with the guild fees. Everyone pays $120 as guild fees. That's part of the university requirements. We have an estimated number of students of around 6,500. Um, if you do the maths, there's about $780,000 that's allocated for the guild. That is a lot of money, right? That money just can't go disappearing, going into people's pockets. We can't be doing that, right? So the first thing that happens is a deduction, a 1/3 deduction that is supposed to be carried over for the following guild, right? This is to help the incoming guild, to basically sort themselves out so they're not left stranded, before their budget is approved and things like that. So we would have made provisions to deduct this 1/3 from the guild fees amount, and right. I think you understand what I said. There's also a deduction for the post-grad representative. Um, there would have been a lot of conversations about that earlier, and there's none at the moment, but they are allocated 20% of the total budget after the 1/3 deduction. They basically run their chaps as like a separate campus. They're postgrad, all the postgraduate students in the Cape campus. So they are allocated 20% of the total budget. We also make provisions to receive the 1/3 from the previous guild. That's just provisions, right? As we would have said, we don't really have that money, right? But it's provisions and it's in the budget because that's how it's supposed to be, right? Okay. Moving on swiftly. Right. In the Guild Union building, we have three tenants currently. There's the Legacy Kitchen, Campus Streets, and there's a hairdresser. They provide the revenue for us because, yes, there is a hairdresser in the Guild Union building. Um, I didn't really go to a hairdresser, but there is a hairdresser there that you could check out if you wish. That's just to say that they are rented from us and they pay us rent. So their rent revenue is shown in the budget. Um, Onto the expenses. So the guild currently we have two employees. They are the administrative secretary and a custodian. We cover their salaries and NIS contributions. There's also a provision made for a guild van driver. The guild normally has a van, and we would normally, because the van driver is our employee, we would be paying their salary as well. Currently, there is no van and no van driver. But we try to be hopeful, right? We are making provisions for in the event that we get a van and a guild van driver that we would have money to pay her, right? Right after that is the vehicle expenses. As I just said, we don't have a van at the moment. These are just provisions. And one of the main reasons why the budget would have been taken so long for approval, because we know we need a vehicle, administration knows that we need a vehicle. But for the vehicle to fit in the budget is at a very large cost, right? So um, we would have received a quote for maybe $154,000 for a new vehicle. And if you add that to the total that's there, the expenses will be much, 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 much more than any revenue that we could possibly imagine to get. Right? So that can run. And we have been in discussion with them back and forth about this. There's there's an idea of a proposal. I'm not sure if you guys may know, but we have reserves. So the idea is to purchase the vehicle using our guild reserves. But that would be a proposal that we would have to send to the administration and wait for their approval. Um, right. Moving on. Right. Moving on to welfare and scholarships. According to our constitution, we are we're supposed to allocate at least 10% of the total budget to welfare and to welfare basically, right? We have decided to split this, starting with a guild scholarship program that would make up 3.95% of the 10% that is required. The rest of it will be in general welfare. And Osaze would have mentioned it earlier as well. As the budget is not approved, we are not able to open the welfare. I would have received messages and people would have reached out to me about welfare, etc. But it's really not up to us at the moment. When the budget is approved, hopefully very soon, we will be opening channels for you guys to apply for welfare and apply for your scholarships, and we'll use our discretion and share the welfare. Continuing on the budget, there's just a lot of simple stuff, office supplies, building maintenance. Um, Other than that, we have numerous guild initiatives that you might hear about from the rest of the councils throughout the academic year, namely welcome packages. We do a soup kitchen. Um, this is Guild Week. The Guild Week is a part of the budget as well. We make provision for those. As you can see in line item T, we mentioned the intercampus guild meetings. Our three representatives would have just returned today. From there, we make provisions to cover their flights and pay for their accommodations and cover their meals as well. Um, there's a National Disaster Welfare Fund. Yeah, there's a natural disaster emergency fund. When I was in my first year, well, I'm from Simmons, if you guys didn't know. When I was in my first year, the Las volcano erupted, right? And I was on the Vincent exec at the time, and we would have heard about the fund. And at that time, there was a kind of a transition period between the two girls prior and the last girl that we wanted to speak of. Right? And there was a lot of runaround because this is a natural disaster, right? The people of my country, they're running from ashes and like they don't have running water, but we weren't able to provide for them like in a way that was best, right? And I would like to personally make this fund very available in the event of a natural disaster. I know it would be hard for a lot of people, and you will have families back home, so you would like to give and lend a supporting hand to all of our students in the event of this. And we could move on to the council portfolio allocations. Each of our councils, well, not myself because I'm just the treasurer, but the ones, these lovely people here, they are given a subvention, right? And they're basically using it to help you, right? The faculty representatives, the hall chairs, all of them. And this is basically the breakdown. Right, and that basically brings me to the end of the budget. But I kind of want to speak about some other things, namely the financial process and the way how it's been going. There's Well, Osaze would have said we've been facing a lot of difficulty, right? Especially during Freshers Week. This is week 4. Freshers Week would have occurred in week 1. There are a lot of people, right? We pulled off that event basically on vibes, right? It's have a lot of people that are still owed payments and stuff like that. And I would just like to apologize if there's anyone listening and um, and anyone here who we would have owed money because it's not really up to us, right? Um, I don't like to operate in a relationship like that, right? You want to have good working relationships with people. And a lot of the people who we are working with are based on close relationships that the council members would have had. And I don't really want to, um, how to say, I don't want to mash up their personal relationship based on the guilt and over something that we cannot personally control. So I would just like to personally apologize to anyone who we would have dealt with. And yeah, with regards to subventions and monies that we're supposed to give out to clubs and island associations, we would have had meetings with OSS. There's a pending meeting with the bursary, and in the sense of transparency, they would have suggested some new measures that I don't believe would work, right? They're putting us under a new financial process and they would like to extend it to the different clubs and the different island associations. For the guild, I understand, right? A lot of things happened previously and a lot of money went missing, that's what allegedly, right? And allegedly. And so their reaction is warranted. But with regards to the clubs and the island associations, you guys are independent and it wouldn't be fair for them to, to restrict you guys like that. So we would have put up a proposal to them. We have yet to receive approval, but we are working on it. And as soon as the budget is approved and the process is clarified, we'll be able to give out the subventions to you guys. um, process, welfare, subventions. Right. Okay, that brings me to the end of the financial report. Thank you all for listening.
So now, as we finish the financial report, we will have we will move on to any other business, and I would like to welcome this to the podium, Mr. Moralo.
All right. We don't have much to say for the any other business. I just want to expound on a few things. So like what I mentioned, the ICGC contingent, and we don't cover the whole cost. The university does pay for the majority of it, and we cover some. Because the university kind of understands the importance of the ICGC and making it happen. Also, kind of takes permanently the purchase of the girl van. They kind of wanted us to take the spending out of our budget, but that makes sense. We're not spending all our money in the van, and we have so much things to do. And so that's why we're going to use the proposal to use the Gill Reserves. The Gill Reserves is, or what it's supposed to be, is that for every council that passes, any money that remains stays in that reserve, right? And so sometimes Gills just forget that a reserve exists and they don't use it. But the fact of the matter is, you all pay these fees for the Gill to use it. And you will just charge enough fees. They don't need to take the Gill money on top of that. So we have the ability to use the Gill reserves to make this purchase, and we will attempt and hopefully successfully make the purchase through the use of the Gill reserves. One other thing, I just want to ask Barry and Shane to stand up. As I mentioned earlier, we have 3 new Gill appointments. One of them isn't here because of an injury. Hopefully he's safe and recovers well. But so in the lovely white shirts on my left, we have our new Gill secretary. And to my right, in the black hoodie, we have our new National Affairs Committee chairperson. So some things I want to say before I continue. We have a new secretary. That's amazing. But up till now, the roles of the secretary has been performed by our Gill librarian, and she did really appreciate it. So I really appreciate it. And Shane, the new National Affairs Committee chairperson, even before he became the National Affairs Committee chairperson, he has been assisting us. He assisted us with Freshers Week, and he has been working with the Gill. And so now he'll extend his commitment, but we really appreciate all the persons that have been working with us. Additionally, our IACC, International Affairs Committee chairperson. Normally the IACC don't sit on any many university committees, but as you all know, right now we don't have an FSS rep. And thankfully, I have a willing council who are willing to take on additional responsibility. And so in the meantime, until the FSS rep is elected, you all will still have representation in faculty board. And your representative is Mr. Felipe, our as well as we don't have a faculty of humanities rep. And so before we had the FCCPA, they were under humanities. So I asked Chizara if she'd be willing to take on the additional responsibility. And that means she's serving on 2 faculty boards, CCPA and humanities. So again, big up Chizara as well. Right. The third appointment is our Faculty of Science and Technology representative. He isn't here, but I'll still say his name. His name is Wasani Martinez. Right, I don't think I have anything else to say. So, I believe, should we take a break before the question and answers? No? Alright. So, Gill Week still going on. We have a beer line, we have a games night, we have a fete. Buy your tickets, come out to the beer line. The games night, alright, competitions. I hear it's about beer chugging competition. I hear some other things. Come on, bring money too. They have to spend money. Look, we explain that we can't remember. The question and answer segment coming now. So the returning officer, he changed shifts. Will be responsible for vetting the question. So how it will happen? If you want to ask a question, you basically actually I'll let him explain it.
So good night, everybody. As the president said, my name is Gian Mark Aston, and I am the returning officer. You'll notice that I changed from a yellow to a black shirt. This is to symbolize my independence in this moment, because I'm really sort of the go-between between these people here, the Guild Council, and you, the student. So we want to get this question and answer segment done as quickly and efficiently as possible, because I'm sure everybody is tired. So what's gonna happen is, just on 1 second. What's gonna happen is, you see 3 ladies over there in black. We're gonna come, line up. If there's enough people for a line up along the side there. You're going to meet me somewhere between the speaker and the door. You're gonna tell me the question. Now you're telling me the question for 2 reasons. Number 1, to make sure that the question arises out of business that was discussed here tonight. So let me say that in another way. You are only allowed to ask questions relating to what was discussed tonight. I may ask you to rephrase that question if the language is a bit abrasive. But other than that, you're free to ask whatever you want arising out of business discussed here tonight. We have 1 microphone, but we're going to try to get this done in the best and fastest way possible. So we're going to ask everyone to be as quiet as possible. The person asking the question, we're going to ask you to project your voice. All right. So you can use the mic. So you could use the mic to ask a question, and then we'll allow the Guild Councillor an opportunity to respond. Yeah. So we'll allow for a response, and then we'll move on to the next person. All right. So without further ado.
Good night. This question is for the treasurer. I just want to know, you mentioned 20% of the guild fees goes to post-grad. I just want to know how many was the percentage of students that are post-grad? 8%. Yes. Otherwise they're going to calculate it. 820 students, you said, out of 6,500? That don't sound like 20% to me.
Okay, so as we have one friend recently, I don't really like to talk over people. The answer is the budget has certain stipulations. The same way we are required to give a third of the budget to the incoming for the following exec, and we can't use that 1 day. The same way we have to use 10% minimum for welfare is the same way that for postgraduate or for chaps, a 20% allocation is there. That's not our decision. Right. We have 827 postgrad students. We have a projected number of undergraduate students, which is the projected number of students. For the purposes of the guild budget, we use a projected number of students, which the Guild Treasurer will explain. So we don't have an exact number of students in the university. The reason is that registration is an ongoing thing. So at the start of the semester, you don't have the final number of registered students. Some people just wait until after the registration period to actually pay the fees. We have some students who come in January and other things like that. So for the purposes of our budget, we use a projection. The way our accounting and budgeting works is you have a projected figure, and then after you have an actual figure. And then when we present the next budget where we show our spending, we show this was the projected number of students, the projected amount that we would spend on something versus the actual amount and how it was used. So for example, the Guild retreat that we had budgeted for, we didn't use enough money because as I say, it was really just meetings and things. So the projected amount is going to be different from the actual amount being substantially lower. For the Guild sheets, we had budgeted, I believe it's 10,000 for the sheets because we have a yellow sheet, a white long sleeve, and two polos. However, the process of spending that we do is that we don't just go to our vendor and ask for sheets. We get at least 3 invoices. After we get 3 invoices from 3 separate vendors, and then taking into consideration the amount of time and all of that goes into it, then we pick the best vendor. In the instance of the sheets, the vendor that we actually only had 2 invoices. One was for 10,000 something, the other for 7,000 something. Obviously, we being financially prudent, we went to the vendor that was 7,000 something. And so reflected in the budget will have the budgeted, projected 10,000, and then the actual 7,000 something. Any excess money or money that isn't used for the purposes of how it was budgeted, we could always use for welfare. And so that's why it's important that we are financially prudent and try to make the best use of our money. I think that's enough on the question.
Thank you very much for the question. Thank you, Mr. President, for the answer.
Right, good evening. Now, my first question, I have more than one question. My first question is for Mr. President. Now, as a postgraduate student, new incoming postgraduate student, and being a part of a wider postgraduate community, we feel like we're going to be overlooked. I understand that you are the president, but you are in charge of an undergraduate community of over 6,000 students. What will you as a president do to ensure that we as a community will not be overlooked?
Okay, so on the don't go home, we trying to save time between questions and answers, right? So I'll start by saying I myself am a postgraduate student, so obviously I had to look after the needs of postgraduate students. The first thing is, we're in this situation we are in today because we're trying to look after the postgraduate students. And as I would have tried to explain in the group chat, it's not that we're going to remain without a postgraduate representative for a long period of time. The budget, the by-election, which is handled by my lovely Arrow, he has informed me that he would like to have it completed before the end of October. And so by the end of October, we hopefully have a postgraduate representative who will then be able to build their committee and represent the needs of the postgraduate students. In the interim, I am the one who, tried to get things done. For instance, the issue that was raised about the launch for the research students in SciTech. I, reached out to the registrar and postgrad to try to get the issue rectified. As I say, this council forever taking on responsibility that not constitutionally there. And if it's the case that I just have to take on a little bit extra responsibility to ensure that my 827 postgraduate students represented, then I will handle it on.
Now that leads me into my second question, and that is constitutional reform. Now, for constitutional reform, you said that there was no clause in the Constitution regarding runoff elections. how will that affect a second by-election, which in that will be the case for the post-grad representative, and what will be done for the constitutional reform going forward?
So when I said it has no runoff, is because I meant that a runoff and a by-election is a different thing. So a by-election has provisions in the constitution, and so a by-election happens when a person in a position is no longer in that position. So the case is that the position was filled and is no longer filled, and that constitutes a by-election. A runoff election, however, is when the position was never filled, which was the case for the positions that we had to have the runoff elections for prior to the start of the semester. So it's not that we don't have the provisions to get a new postgraduate representative. The by-election and the runoff is different, and in the new constitution that Michael is working on, we hope to have provisions for a runoff election. Actually, I think he said the election procedure and stuff will stay in the electoral code, and the electoral code will be powered by the constitution. Make sense? Good.
Alright, so this is my final question. This more is targeted to the treasurer regarding clubs. I'm also the interim president of the Environmental Club. We were still active during the pandemic. My question for a club like ours, we never took money from the guild. Will we still have to go ahead and conform to the new monetary procedures, even though we never took money from the guild?
Okay, so the clubs that get subventions from the guild are usually the clubs registered through the Office of Student Services that we try to assist. And so the new financial monitoring is not a case where we're trying to get into the accounts of the clubs and associations. It's the case whereby the clubs and associations that we give subventions, so that we say we allocate $3,000 to, okay, let me say we allocate $6,000 to the frank. That's a bad example. Let me say we allocate like 5,000 to the Cotton Candy Club, make up something. And we give them this $5,000 will have to be accounted for. So let's say they have most of their plans for the first semester. Let's say we give them 3,000 in the first semester. Before they can get the next 2,000 as allocated to them, they simply just have to account for how they spend out of the 2,000. So if you spend, or if you say you spend 2,000 on Cotton Candy, since it's the Cotton Candy Club, you simply provide, a bill or receipt. So we know that you spend the money how it's supposed to be spent, and then the next semester, you get your next 2,000. It's not a case where we just asking all the clubs to open the books and give us like a financial report. Alright, no problem.
Very pleasant night, everyone. Before I ask my question, just want to say props to the guild. In your acronym for is work for responsibility. I guess with that comes accountability. So one of the first things I heard when I came this evening was about the postmortem we had after Freshers Weekend. I think that's really, really good signs for things to come. The question at the heart of K-Phil is people. We are people learning from people, people living with people, and people evolving with people. And the members of this guild appear committed to being visible, not just in your roles and your capacities, but as individuals. Can you give us some level of assurance that this same kind of nakedness, being able to strip away the roles and come to us as people, that this same kind of nakedness will apply to more of the senior leadership and administration on the campus than in the past years?
I mean, we can't force them to, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Sorry, that they came to the AGM, because I know Loki deep down inside they was worried that they get questions thrown at them. The boys was like, I know really the boys tonight. I'm like, no, don't worry, you see him come true. And so, getting them out is our first step. Maybe as we continue to negotiate and interact with them, they I feel as though as they The respect the administration have for the Guild Council is only through the backing of the students. And so, if they show us respect, it's because they know we have student support and they really believe that the students are behind us and committed to us. So, in terms of visibility and getting them out of the offices, I mean, that is something I can picture them and say, you know, the students would like if instead of saying no in the office, you come out once in a while to, you know, attend events, interact with the students. But, you know, I think tonight was a good start, get them to the AGM. Maybe we do them at the FET and in their life, but maybe some panel discussions or something they can show. But you know, I can't really speak to how they will engage with the students in the future. No, true. What else is always there? They just have a monitor.
Definitely appreciate it. Thank you, answer. Well, yeah, definitely appreciate the start. I was hoping that they would have been here to hear the question, but I think they're a really good start and look forward to what we can do going forward.
Good night, everybody. So my first question is really yes, man. Hello. All right. So the first question is really, I want to find out really what is the rationale in not necessarily posting the results from the last election, because a key part of free, fair, and integrity-based elections is knowing how many people voted and for a particular person. So I really want to know the rationale. I don't know about the term runoff. The GCC and my dear friend Simeon, I really wanted to know for you how many votes he got for that position. So Gian, I guess that question is for you.
Um, there was no particular reason why the results were not posted. They were circulated via different forums and was not posted on Instagram. So it's not to say the results are some sort of secret, but it just was not posted on the Instagram.
All right, I guess I didn't get it via email. Maybe it's forthcoming. The second thing as well is also the I realized that the resignation of the suicide rep happened, let's say, on Monday. But the guild also went on Wednesday to post a set of available positions in which the suicide rep was not included as part of this. So I really want to know, as much as I know that Tiffany will do an excellent job, I really want to know for you how the largest faculty on the campus is able to have an individual already playing a duality of roles, and it not being pressing on her own life.
So when it is positions are to be filled by election, there's an original election that we quote unquote call a big election, which happens in March, as you know. And subsequent to that, if it is the position was not filled by reason of none of the nominees being accepted, or by reason of there being no nominees, which was the case in these positions, another election is held. Positions again were advertised during the month of August, which is when the GCC and the treasurer position were filled. Again, these positions did not attract any nominations. After the second election, the Constitution empowers us to then fill those posts by appointment. That is the release that went out for those posts to be filled by appointment. Where it is we have a resignation during somebody's tenure, the same process does not apply. In that case, we then have to have a by-election where a sitting councillor is demitted from office for whatever reason. That position, once it's an elected position, is filled by a by-election. So again, the distinction is the previous positions, we attempted to fill them twice. They attracted no nominations, we then moved to appoint. In the second instance, with the social rep, the person resigned from office. So a different procedure will apply in that we will have a by-election just for that particular position.
All right, thank you for the elusive response. I guess really the main question now is when is the by-election? To get the postgraduate. All right, thank you for your breath.
Hi, good night, everybody. Just two questions. My first question would be, first of all, give the girl a round of applause for planning the event and everything. I just want to ask, I know that you have made mention of the fact that the budget has not been approved as yet, and the week of activities would have, incurred expenses. And I know that we're hopeful that the vendors and stuff will be paid. I just want to know what the ramifications would be then for, I don't want to say um, not going by procedure, but what would the ramifications be for these events being facilitated without approved budget? The event had an approved budget. It didn't have approval to have one, which in the eyes of OSS makes sense. Um, and so the spending, the budget was sent through along with the report for the activities. And the only reason payments haven't been made is because it's going through the university. And so after we received the invoice, first they didn't tell us everything we needed on the invoice. The invoice need to be addressed to the girl students, it needs to have this, that, the other. Yeah, Thomas number now too. Students don't even have that. But anyway, so after we get the invoice had to be signed by the girl treasurer and the girl president. After that happens, we had to fill out a form called a P12 form, where it has a whole nexus of information, also has to be signed by the treasurer, the president, and the budget holder. Plus, we have to get a vendor request form, which, because of the new system of payments going through UE, the vendor request form is for UE to add the vendor to their system and then make the payment. And so these three documents all have been submitted to you and has gone through the proper channels to ensure that it has been paid. And this we have a lot of scrutiny. We have scrutiny here because it had things that has come, and me and Nick would say that's too expensive, or we don't wanna. And then after we scrutinize it and sign and send it forward, it's go to OSS, and then Ms. Lynch and Khalid and Rusha would sit on and scrutinize why we want to spend money on this and make us give them another rationale, which personally I don't think makes sense because it's our money to spend how we see fit for the students. But it's not a problem at the moment because we could justify our spending. And after it goes through them, then they send it to the bursary to make the payments. So at the moment, the outstanding payments is just for the bursary to make the checks. They say it was gonna be paid last week. But we know them. So on Friday last week, I get a call from one of the teachers saying, yo, what's going on? I say, we had to make sure the payments happen. So I literally walked up to the bursary because there was an answering emails or calls and talked to a guy working in the bursary. Not the head, because they don't actually send the checks. So I talked to him and he said, okay, send me this. He talked to him, he said, all right, you're gonna sort it and try to get through. This week, on Monday or Tuesday, one of them, yesterday he said, all right, we have everything. I'm going to try to get the check sorted, and as soon as I get it sorted, I will message you directly, and so we could go collect it and make the payments to the vendors. With respect to ramifications, if it isn't paid, I don't think it would come to a point where the university doesn't make a payment simply due to the fact that they made the commitment for it to be paid. And so, while the guild cares about our reputation, trust and believe you will care more about their reputation. And the fact that payments have to come through UE, they will ensure that they pay the vendors. I hope that answers the question. Okay, thank you. For the most part,
the other part would have been, well, following what you'd have said, in that events would have taken place. You said that the how do you phrase it now? I think you said that the budget had approval, not events, not the events. So I want to know then what ramifications will become of that, given that the events themselves were not approved.
You see, the university love us. The fact of the matter is, after Freshers Week happened and came out and it had the student numbers and participation, when we went to the next, well, now we, actually, yes, we did. All of us, well, most of us went to academic board. All of them, they said, congratulating us on the wonderful week of activities and how engaged the freshers are. And you would swear it's not like they did not prove it. You would swear they help us with it and stuff. But the fact is, as I say, we care about their reputation. And Freshers Week distract the students from the fact that AC wasn't making their classes and that a lot of nonsense was happening in the week. So they're glad we distract the students. What it also showed, or what I made clear was the position. Actually, we had to reschedule a meeting with admin because they set a meeting in Freshers Week. And I replied to the deputy principal and said, we can't meet on this day. We have activities to do. The students is our priorities. The meeting with admin had to wait. Also during the week of activities with respect to how they wanted the finances done. Sometimes you just had to be staying with them and say, this cannot happen. What we need to do is have Freshers Week, because if it didn't happen, the students don't care that the grades we didn't disperse funds. They was going to say Saze and that girl not doing nothing. And so we made it happen. And I think the university administration respects the fact that we did what we had to do for the students. And so as I say, like they realize that whether or not we get this written approval from the registrar, the events happening. And so as I say in my report, for this week, they gave us something, a new thing called conditional approval, whereby, they give us the approval in hopes that we continue in spirits with the discussions that we have in negotiating for the events to happen. So I think it's not that I have ramifications, but the change between what we did and for what we can do now is that they know that we need to get our events done if we need to get it done. And so they work better in order to ensure that we get it done. For example, the beer line. We all was here, well, most of us was here for the beer line in Freshers Week where the men shut me down because of capacity and we had to go down to GT. As you'll see, we have a beer line this week and they're not shutting it down because, we expressed, make sure I'm well we expressed that, the interaction between some security personnel and the guild wasn't the best, and that in order for us to get things done, that person needs to come out of the process. I didn't say it like that, obviously, I just it up. And so the head of security now directly works with us to ensure that our events happen and to ensure that something that happened will happen. So ramifications of going ahead without approval is that they're giving us approval now. I don't know how to say it.
This one isn't necessarily a question, just something to mention. A lot of students have been mentioning about the times of the post of the guild events. They do want to attend the events, but sometimes, especially for local students as MBSA president, seeing the post at 2 p.m. for something beginning at, let's say, 7, it doesn't give them a lot of time to work around because they do want to attend. So they're just asking that post be made a little earlier in the day or the day before so that they can make that time in their schedules to attend events.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So in the post meeting for Freshers Week, this would have been something we discussed and something we wanted to improve on for the week. You see, we have enough problem with the system of training events and ensuring that all communication takes place in the proper order, that when the flyer does come out, we don't have to go and change something again. And so yes, we really, really, really wanted to post everything at the start of the week for this week. But it's something that we're working on and we really need to do better with. And I spoke to the PRO recently, and spoke to him about a new system that he might try to introduce in order to alleviate some of the stress, because he under real stress. I know the PRO is be under real stress, especially when freshers become guilty back to back. There's enough hours and he has classes. He has the PCC to our system, but I think we need to define a better process internally whereby he could get all the information that needs to run the flyer well enough time ahead of the event so he could make the flyer and so that we could post it even before. We can't be scrapping to get the posters out. And then it only get posted a few hours before the event. But it's something we're working on, and we hope that it can improve as the time goes on.
Good night, everybody. All right, so my question is to the president of the studio. My name is Renetta Haynes Lane, postgraduate, who would have been forced to resign. Now, Mr. President, sir, my first question, right? Why was I deleted out of the guild chat before I quote unquote resigned?
So the persons who were here from the start, who will have read my report, will know the answer to this question. And that would have been actually attending the general meeting to hear the reports and not coming for the answers and the question and answer segment. But in answering the question, as I said earlier, it was more of a recall than a resignation. The fact of the matter is, in frank terms, the council didn't want you to be a part of the council anymore. And so we made a decision, a vote, to remove you from the council. That's the honest truth.
Okay, good night. Since I was democratically elected and the student body would have elected me, why did the girl remove me?
Um, um, in my report, as I would have explained, the guild has been streaming the general meeting on YouTube. If you would like to go back to see anything you missed, perhaps you stepped on to go to the washroom, you can go to the guild's YouTube to look over the general meeting again, as it pertains to being democratically elected by the students. You see, you can't take one part of the constitution and say this empowers me or this put me in my position, and so there are no checks and balances with respect to how I remain and stay in this position. The fact is that of the council, how many were elected? Actually, we had like 5 appointments, the majority of the council, probably at least 15, were also democratically elected. And it's not that your election was more valid than another election. And the Constitution empowers the Girl Council to make a decision where we can do this if we see it that is not to the benefit of the institution. And the thing is, yes, these students may or may not have seen that they are not being represented, but as the persons on the council with you, who we're supposed to be working with you, who you were supposed to be working with, we are in the best position to see whether or not you represent these students that you signed up to represent. And it's unanimous. We do not believe you had the students' interests at heart, and using the means in the constitution, we did what we had to do to try to get the students and representative. Right? So I really don't want another question because I'm very reasonable and I explained it to my report. The students hate it. Did you after the first vote, you came upstairs into the guild and begged I know saying that if not didn't say before, I literally repeat what was in the report. The fact of the matter is, you know you weren't representing the students because you came and you made an attempt to say that you will change. And I mean you know that you weren't doing it. And in between that and the other event, we simply had a vote to recall you. I don't know how to explain it any clearer. I don't know what I have to do to explain it to you. Maybe you could watch the reports and see, and maybe click somewhere. But that is what happened, and that's the position that we will move in. The university administration was present at the president's report. The deputy principal sat here, the campus bruiser sat here, and they listened to what I say. And I did not lie because they got that email too, and they know what took place. And so nothing is going to change. It happened, and the council is moving forward.
You would have no mention that my position was recalled. On what grounds were my position recalled?
We have points in question because it is out of the business of the meeting, and it is a question posed by a student to the council. We can't not answer the question, even if it was answered before. You see, we try to treat people with so much grace. The reasons for the recall was non-performance and misconduct.
In relation to the non-performance, please expand for me.
You want me to explain to the students how you win performing? Just um, um, so in every single university meeting before the start of the semester, and except for the the finance and general purpose committee meeting, you wouldn't have been there. These notices, these emails would have came to your postgraduate representative email, and you know you wouldn't have access to it. No, that was said except to the FNGC. I explained that in the reports. Remember, I told you she asked for the translation. I'm extremely transparent. I realize that the picture massive. Um, Question: does the postgraduate CHOPS have a committee? No, how many persons are on the committee? No, answer the question. As as per the constitution, a resignation takes effect 7 days after it's sent. So technically, you still the postgrad rep. And so if a postgrad student would like to ask how many persons are on the CHOPS executive, you know, you could postgrad students.
Next one, good night. Good night. All right, let's settle down. Let's settle down. Let's settle down. Big food boss. Let's settle down. Let's settle down, please. Let's settle down, please. Let's settle down, please. It is very easy. All right, let's listen. Let's listen. It is very easy for this to turn into an exercise in futility, a shouting match, and a waste of everybody's time. That question was asked. The question was answered. The postgrad rep has one more question. That question is going to be asked and answered. And if there are questions after that, because we're not asking for stories or answers from anybody that is not sitting up here. So if there are questions after that, we will entertain those questions at that.
So in the event that the postgrad rep, quote unquote, resigned, which she didn't because she was forced. Anyhow, no stories, right? The girl is a bunch of stories. Anyhow, whether my VP be the acting and not the guild president, I'm just asking questions.
Good question. What usually happens is the VPS might take the responsibilities of the president in the event that there isn't a president. But the fact of the matter is, we, as a guild council, I can attest that the university administration doesn't know the CHOPS council, and so whether or not, let's say you formed a council, and whether or not it had 10 people in it, which it didn't, there is a process to it. electing a council or appointing a council. The CHAPS page doesn't have a post on it since February. And the elections took place in March. Am I wrong? March. And so there is no way a council, a CHAPS or postgraduate council could have been either appointed or elected if there is no notice anywhere signaling that nominations were open. That means you would have handpicked persons from the school, which isn't allowed for. It's not there. It is not there. It went out. I think that was the last question, correct? Um, I would like to really and truly thank my returning officer speaking to this room with the level of professionalism and independence required. As I said, this was our appointed person. Somebody the girls saw and chose. We had other good candidates too, but we there. How is Raiders meeting to a close? I don't know. We have the refreshments are up. Wait. We're gonna close now.
Now, on behalf of everyone here, the Gilbert students, we'd like to give each and every one of you guys a round of applause for coming out and supporting the AGM. Also, we would like to ask our GCC to come and end with a word of prayer. C'est bien?
Yes, good night, everybody. Before I leave, you don't have to stand, just reverend yourself, please. Yeah, just give me a little piece of quiet, please. Father, I just want to thank you for a lovely night. I just hope that some of us, or all of us, would change for the better, look towards you. And I pray that this week, this Guild week, that it will go as planned, and all of us in our life as students, that we will graduate knowing that we did something that we love. When am I praying, man? Yeah, big up the Guild one time, already. Yeah.
Also, don't forget, pump your flag, get your tickets from any Guild function, just quickly. It's gonna be the biggest, baddest event for the semester. Look out for DJ Banks, DJ C4. Also support the Bill 9, you don't know. We have a lot of the big DJs, the biggest DJs on the island right now. Big up DJ Saki. Big up. Big up DJ Mali William. Wait and say what we can do. Also, if there are refreshments for persons who might have been hungry, might need a the refreshments you like.
Mm-mm.